Hi, I'm back. You might not even have noticed that I have been gone, but it's been more than 3 years since I last filmed a video and posted it on YouTube. So I kind of stopped in 2020, I think, and I looked through my notes and I already had plans for videos in 2021, but just life happened, and I've been thinking about coming back. I actually started actually thinking about it just yesterday, and that was when I started making plans to, okay, let's just do this, because I've been a little bit hesitant to do it because, one, I feel like I'm a little embarrassed putting videos of myself online, and then previously it hasn't really fit into my schedule because I've been working, I'm a student now, that things are happening. But this spring it kind of fits into my schedule. I have days where I can sit down and film, and I've missed it. Then there's also the I feel like I should be super professional. I work in special needs education, and I just felt a little bit like maybe someone can relate. It just feels a little bit silly to be on the screen. My English is still not perfect at all, but that's kind of the thing. When I started making videos, it was because I wanted to have someone to talk to in English, because I live in Norway and I speak Norwegian all the time. So that's one of the reasons, and I just need to forget about all my insecurities, and then everyone needs hobbies, and I want this to be mine because makeup is my hobby, and I've been continuing with the pan those eyeshadows and everything after I stopped filming as well, and I really missed having someone to share it with, because it's just not the same tracking it only for your own self. I have no one to talk to about this, and my boyfriend doesn't really care, and yeah, so because of that, I decided that I'm gonna start, I'm calling this my pan those eyeshadow project kind of still, because I just love that name. It's the project that Alexandra Sjösten created a long time ago, and that was what I did on my channel before. It was my favorite project to film. It was my favorite thing, altogether in the makeup community. And then I've just done it very differently this year. So it's my 2024 eyeshadow panning project, because that is what it is. I have a plan to hit pan, not entirely pan the eyeshadow, hit pan in 24 eyeshadows this year. And that is a lot for me, because I'm not one of those people who can pan something in 5 uses. I think the most, I was watching some of my old videos, and the most it's ever taken me, I think, was 50s, no, it was more, 67. It was extreme. I used one eyeshadow so many times. It was a matte color drain eyeshadow, I think. So if you want to watch someone who takes extremely long, but I did it. I hit pan eventually, it just took very long. You can watch some of my old pan those eyeshadows project, because that was when I was rolling random eyeshadows and working on eyeshadows that I didn't necessarily want to work on. This year, however, I have chosen my 24 eyeshadows, and I'm going to go through all of them today, and then every month I will go through the ones that I have used. I probably won't go through if there are any that I haven't used at all. And then I'll show you my progress, and I will tell you how many times I used them and all of that jazz. So I'm just gonna hop right into it. So the first one is from MAC. This is actually an older palette that it wasn't available everywhere, I think because it was a Middle Eastern collab palette. But I love mine, so I knew, well, the second I saw this, that I needed it. It's the Rose Gilded eyeshadow palette. Looks like this. I think each eyeshadow is 1 gram. It's 10 eyeshadows, and the palette is 10 grams in total. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 eyeshadows that I'm trying to hit pan on in this palette. So what I'm gonna do, how am I gonna do this? I'm gonna go through them one by one, and I'll show you comparison pictures, because I have taken pictures. I started this project, I forgot to mention that. I started this project on January 1st, and then I've tracked all of my uses in January and February, and it's currently February 23rd, so it hasn't been a full 2 months yet, but I had to film this today. So I will show you some pictures and then tell you how many times I used it. So the first one in here is, I'm taking it in the order that I have it in my list here. This is Flash Beams, and hopefully you'll be able to see it's a big dip in there and pictures of what it looked like, and now the camera suddenly got real dark. So that's Flash Beams. I have used this one 21 times in January and 6 times in February, so a total of 27 times in this project. And I did also scrape out a little bit to put into a Franken inner corner highlight shade. I haven't, so I did scrape a little bit of this, but I haven't counted this one as one use when I used the Franken one. So it's just probably a little bit more than 27. But I'm getting closer, but these are really deep pans, so it'll take a while. Next one is Glamageddon. I didn't use this one this month, it's this one, but I have used it 6 times this year, 6 times in January, and there's a decent dip, but nowhere near hitting pan yet. And then the one that I've used the most, probably maybe in the entire project, at least one of the ones that I've used most, is this matte shade right here. This is called Fawn Over. It's the like crease shade, transition shade. It has a very big dip. I've used this one 22 times in January and not at all in February. So it has a big dip. I feel like I'm close on this one. I feel like if I just continue using it at this pace, I use a pretty fluffy brush, but it has such a nice dip that maybe I'll be able to hit pan in my next update, because I'm going to focus on this one again in March. And then the last one is the black, I'm going to tilt this over, the black eyeshadow in this palette, and there's no way you'll be able to see like actually how extremely deep these pans are, because I haven't hit pan yet, but I'm very close. I used it 18 times in January, I've used it 9 times so far in February, so that's a total of 27 uses, and I thought I was going to hit pan today. I didn't. I was filming it because I thought I'd be able to show you a little live pan. Didn't happen, but if you continue watching, there will actually be footage of a live pan later on in this video, which is really exciting, which means I have one pan to show you today. Next one is the green eyeshadow in the palette. This is gorgeous. This is called Miss Nefertiti. Miss Nefertiti. Nefertiti. Whatever. It's the green shade in the palette, and it's really pretty. It has a dip, but not really close to hitting pan. I didn't use it at all this month, but I used it twice in January. This is gonna take forever. But I can use this with a slightly smaller brush, so maybe I can like focus it a little bit more. So that's the first palette, 4 eyeshadows from my MAC Rose Gilded. And then the next one is actually also a MAC eyeshadow. MAC eyeshadows was so hard to hit pan on. I'm gonna have to go back and check. I used MAC Grain like 60 times or something before I hit pan. It's in my old Pan Those Eyeshadows videos. It was insane. I used it so much. It's probably gonna be the same thing with this one. This is Sumptuous Olive. It's this one right here. Do not focus on my face, please. It has a really nice dip, but it's gonna take a while. I have it in this really cute little palette that houses 2 MAC eyeshadows and 2 Natasha Denona eyeshadows, which is just perfect for traveling. I've used this one 5 times so far, 2 times in January and 3 times in February, and I'm gonna need to use it a lot more because it's kind of a perfect everyday type of shade for me if I want something a little bit darker as an everyday kind of for work and stuff. So yeah, I feel like I can use this a lot more, but I've just been focusing on other shades for the last 2 months. So that's Sumptuous Olive, and then next is actually from my Oden's Eye, I guess it's called Älva palette. I would say Älva because that is just how I would pronounce it in Norwegian, but it has the dots above the A. It's a Swedish brand. I have 2 shades in here that I'm trying to pan on. The first one is Jasmine, which is this one up here. This one I've used a lot. I used it, let's see, 3 times in January, 11 times this month, and I'm also very close on this one. I feel like it could be any day because I have hip pan in Carnation that was underneath it, and that one took me 55 uses or something. That is crazy. Like, I was not joking when I said that it takes me a long time to hit pan on eyeshadows. But then the next one is the one next to Carnation again. It's this one, when you focus, this is Dandelion. It's beautiful. I've been using this one a lot for like simple work eyeshadow looks. And I used this one 4 times last month, 6 times this month, so 10 total uses. And I had this in a project previously where I used it 21 times. So I'm at 20, no, 30 something uses already. And if it's similar to Carnation, I still have a ways to go, but I'm hoping it won't take me that long. But I usually just use my finger, and I don't really go down in the, I feel like my dip is not getting deeper. It's just kind of, I'm just like moving the product around a little bit, which is annoying. Next up is one of my older palettes. This is the Alamar Reina del Caribe palette. It's one of my favorites from a long time ago. I have decluttered a lot of palettes, but this one I just cannot get rid of because I love it. There are 2 shades in here that I'm trying to pan on. So the first one is this one. I'll put it like this. This is La Costa. And I had this in a project before. I used it 41 times then, which is a lot. And then I used it once in this project. So just 42, 1 use in this project, but 42 uses in total. And I feel like I'm very close. This is a deep, 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 deep dip. So it could be any minute, it could be like any day now. And the other one is El Malecon, which is this one. I used this one today. So I used it 3 times in February, once in January, and I also used it 21 times in a previous project, which means I've used it a total of 25 times to have this dip. Probably more, because that's just the 25 times I've actually tracked my usage. So it has a nice dip, but it's not even close to being as deep as La Costa, so it's gonna take a while. And then I have 2 eyeshadows from Lethal Cosmetics that I'm trying to pan on. The first one is this purple one. Just cover this up. This is Twilight. I've also had this in a project before, and then I used it 22 times, and then I've used it once in January and once in February. So yeah, that's a total of 23 uses, and it definitely shows that I've used it a lot. But these are big eyeshadows. These are 1.6 grams, which is actually twice the size of the Natasha Denona eyeshadows, at least the ones that are in the mini palettes. And even though they are like big pans, 1.6 grams product. That is, it's gonna take a while. But I have a big dip in there, and I love that eyeshadow, so I just need to do purple looks, and I will eventually hit pan. The next one in here is, this shade is called Moonbeam, and I actually haven't used it at all in this project, so it has a dip. I'm gonna start working on it more when I get a little bit more of a tan, because as you can see, I am very pale, and I have different other type of similar shades that I'm working on before I start working on this one, but I just wanted to show it to you because there will be progress eventually. So speaking of eyeshadows that I use in a similar way that I'm working on before, the one from Lethal, I have a little palette. This is actually one of the Hourglass ambient light palettes that I have put magnetic paper in, and it now looks like this. It's like my everyday palette. It has bronzers, a blush, a powder, the Franken highlighter that I was talking about that I mixed a little bit of the MAC eyeshadow in, and then it has the eyeshadow that I'm working on, which is this one. This is Colourpop Hear Me Out. Will you even be able to see anything? I did use this one 9 times this month, but I used it 22 times in January. So 31 times. I feel like I should be kind of close, but like there's a big dip. We'll see. Maybe my next update, I'm gonna continue working on this one and hopefully I'll have a pan to show you soon. And then there's one more eyeshadow that is like a blending out. I use it to like clean up or just use it under my brows type of shade. It's like my type of skin color shade. And this comes from my Too Faced Sparkling Pineapple palette. I love this packaging. And it's the first shade here. This is Yum Yum. I'm gonna show you this without blinding you. This one. So I'm trying to pan in that one. I haven't actually written down this eyeshadow to like finish it this year. Hit pan, I mean. But I think I might also try and hit pan in this one. And then I also want to hit pan in this one. This is Sparkling Pineapple. I haven't used any of these yet, so this is kind of my starting point. And then I want to hit pan in the last shade, which is Pineapple Cooler. And I feel like I'm close, kind of, on that one. I have a nice dip. So I'm gonna start working on these soon-ish. I actually wrote down like June is the month that I'm really gonna focus on this. I'm gonna bring it with me traveling and just really focus on it. So if you want me to talk more about like how I have planned the months, I can do that in my next video. Just let me know. Yeah, so that's that one. And then next comes all of my Huda Beauty palettes. I have a lot of Huda Beauty mini palettes that I like hitting pan in these. I've hit pan on them before, and it's a good time. They are fairly easy to hit pan on, and I already have quite a lot of pans in them. And the first one is the one that I have. This is actually one that's looking the best, I would say. Like, this has a lot of use. I have 3 pans in here. And this year I'm working on hitting pan in this shade. So this is what it looked like in the last 2 months, and this is what it looks like now. And I used this one just once last month. And then the bottom one, which is gonna take forever, I used this one 5 times in January, 6 times in February, so 11 times in total. And I've seen people who needs to use these like 100 times. So hopefully that won't be me. But I definitely think I'm gonna have to use it at least 5 or 6 times every month for the rest of the year to hit pan in the dark brown. These are the type of shades that they're not like, they're firmly pressed and they just pick up the perfect amount of product. They are pigmented and just, it takes a long time. So that's that one. And then I have 2 shades also from my Ruby obsessions. And the first one is this one right here, the 3rd shade in the palette. And then that one I actually used twice in January, twice in February, and I've already used it 4 times in a different project. So that would be 10 total uses, and it has a big dip, but there's some ways to go before I hit pan. Next one is the dark pink one. I love this type of darker matte pink eyeshadow. Hopefully you'll be able to see some progress there. I used this one twice. Yes, twice last month, 3 times in February. So 5 times total. So yeah, that's nice. And then this is going, like, I feel like I'm just going through too much in one video, but here we are. Next is my Huda Topaz Obsessions, and I have 2 shades in here as well. I need to just do this a little bit quicker. This one is the like light gold shimmery shade, and I have used this just once in this project, and once in January, and then also this middle shade I used once in January, so these will take me a while, but these are very easy shades to use. I did hit pan in this one. I think I did it after I filmed my last Pandas eyeshadows, video, so that's a shame. But now I have pan. If you watched them and wondered if I ever hit pan in that one, I did, just after I stopped filming. So that's that. And then the last one is the one that I hit pan on today. It's from my Huda Beauty Emerald Obsessions. Maybe you can tell that I was using green eyeshadow today. And I'm gonna insert the clip of when I hit pan. And I was a little more heavy-handed than I would normally be, I have to be honest. Normally I would just kind of dip my brush just a little bit, but this time I dipped it in more than strictly necessary, and then I tapped it off. But I used the eyeshadow I tapped off when I was doing my lower lash line. But yeah, this is me really trying to hit pan, and this is what it looks like now. That looks amazing. I also have a pan in this one, so you can see my progress there. So happy. That's my first pan in this project, and it's been almost 2 months. So I'm starting to get a little bit nervous about getting to 24. I should like hit pan in 2 eyeshadows every month in order to do it, but hopefully I will be able to hit pan in a lot of eyeshadows from now and throughout the rest of the year. So the last eyeshadows are ones that I'm a little bit unsure about, and I'll tell you why. Because I have my Urban Decay Born to Run palette, which is one of the oldest eyeshadows in my collection. It's from 2018, and I did actually in my last pan of eyeshadows hit pan in the shade Stranded, and then I did also work on this shade Baja. Doesn't even show. But this year I was planning on trying to hit pan in Blaze and Weekender. I haven't used them at all this year yet. I actually haven't wanted to reach for this palette. Like, I think I used Drift once because I needed a dark shade like that. But I haven't been feeling like using this one, and it's probably partly because it's just not my favorite. Like, I have other newer eyeshadow palettes that I like more now, but also it's an older palette. And then here's the thing. I feel like it would be a waste, like this is kind of stupid, but I feel like it would be a waste to hit pan in such an old eyeshadow palette that I know myself, I usually declutter eyeshadow palettes when they get this old. So if I hit pan in 2 eyeshadows in here, my pan percentage goes up, I'm super happy, but then I declutter it and it just goes back down. Is that kind of stupid? How do you feel about eyeshadow palettes that are this old? Like, this is 6 years old. I feel like that is really old, but I know that people use their eyeshadows for like 20 plus years, and I haven't noticed that it's like changing quality, or it's still fine. I just don't really gravitate towards using this one. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm thinking maybe I should just kind of retire this one, and because I want to keep this forever because I just love the whole vibe. But I'm not sure I want to still use this eyeshadow palette. So if I don't end up using these 2 eyeshadows, if I just don't feel like it, I'm not going to do it. And then in that case, I have a very new eyeshadow palette to me. I bought this one just like a week ago, and I've already been loving it. It's the Huda Beauty Rose Quartz palette. And I have 3 shades in here that I kind of want to work on, or at least I'm tracking those so that I can see like how that goes. And that is Cherished, which is the matte pink, and then it is Joy, which is the pink one up here, and Self-Love, which is this bottom one. So I've used those. Self-Love I've used once, and the other 2 I have used, no, Self-Love I've used twice, and the other 2 I've used once each so far. So my question is, should I just start using my newer eyeshadows and like focus on those? Or should I use my old eyeshadows that like, they don't have that long left, but if I don't really enjoy them, like I should probably give the Born to Run another chance before but like I would love to know your thoughts about this. How do you feel about older eyeshadows? When is an eyeshadow palette too old to use? And what do you think about the whole it's a waste to pan something that is old because it will eventually be decluttered and change my number of pans? I would love to know like how you feel about that. So that is pretty much it. I'm gonna quickly just talk to you about the app that I use to track all of these, because I have a spreadsheet with every month in the year, and then I write down how many times I've used that eyeshadow in a month. But every month I use my, this is my app called Counter. It's the green symbol, right? No, you won't be able to see that. Looks like this. It has the eyeshadows down here. So the bright pink one is obviously the Huda Ruby pink eyeshadow, and then the green, Sumptuous Olive, purple is Twilight. So I can see all of my eyeshadows down here, and I just click every time I use them. So I can do it while I do my makeup or on the bus, and I just like all the eyeshadows I used that day, and then I refresh it every month and I write it down in my spreadsheet, and that way I know exactly how many times I used it every month, and I can also check how many times I've used it in total. It's just a very easy way to count eyeshadow usage, I find. So, and I only use my eyeshadows on my eyes. I don't really do eyeshadow as nail polish. I've tried it, but yeah, no, I don't think it's my thing. I can use it as highlighter once in a while, but not really. I usually just use them on my eyes. And I've tried a lot of different ways to track eyeshadow. This has definitely been the easiest. So that is it for my 2024 eyeshadow panning project, panels eyeshadows. I'm gonna do a project pan type of thing, what I'm planning to finish in 2024 next, I think. And then there will also be a No Pan Left Behind series on my channel, because I did No Pan Left Behind last year and I'm doing it this year because I loved it. So I'm going to show you how I do that. And then other than that, I don't really know. I want to do a makeup inventory probably, but if you have any suggestions, anything you would like me to do on my channel, please let me know. And other than that, I hope you will stick around, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll hopefully see you soon. Bye!